understanding is that the additional, and I think town meeting had okayed an additional 2 million square feet of development space in that park. That they're under the impression that it's not going to be an issue, but there have been talks and concerns about not necessarily Wegmans, but once you add in all that additional office space, what we would like to see. There's a very narrow corridor where you could actually add an exit off of Route 3. I think exits off of highways in Massachusetts can't be closer than what, a mile apart. So there's some width. So there's a very narrow channel where they could possibly put on and off ramp to Northwest Park. I don't know for a fact whether Wegmans is sitting on that site or not.
Right.
But I know there has been talk along those lines. But again, that involves the state, adding an interchange on a highway. That's got to be in a $10 million range. So Burlington isn't doesn't have the money for that.
We'll be long gone by the time that exits.
Exactly.
What about the next one, Joan? So let's say, this is, you can actually stand in Burlington and see 3 major construction sites all at one time. Because this is the one that's going in behind Chili's, and they already have another building back there. Have you seen? Oh, it's like a 4-story building. This one's like a 5-story building. How about the next one, Joan? This is across the street from where Keurig is supposed to be expanding or something. Put that one back up, Joan. So
we actually had some pretty valuable property. So it's right behind the movie theater and
is that where Keurig's going in? Who's going in right where Johnson & Johnson used to be?
Well, let's
where
see.
they demolitioned all.
So we have.
If you turn around, you're going to look at Wegmans. What's going in there?
Well, kind of moving down that stretch behind Chili's and the movie theater back there, there is that parking lot right across from the movie theater.
Right.
I've actually heard word that they're looking at even that parking right there is perhaps additional development, but behind that there were two sites behind the movie theater there. I know that. That there were some hazardous materials there. That's now all been cleaned. That's now been zoned for low-level biotech development. I know that the state is very interested in developing that stretch of Route 3 as a biotech corridor, and they would really love to see Burlington as an anchor for all of this new biotech. So, and there is Leahy, which is. There are 5 levels of biotech. I think Leahy's level 3. It's so the town the Board of Health and Planning Board knows how to manage biotech issues. But I know those 2 buildings there, and then just down the way is where Keurig is going in, and. They have been given tax abatement to do a very large facility, but again, overall, it's at least financially, it's a very good deal for Burlington, and convincing Keurig to come here versus some of the other competitors. I know there's quite a bit of work and effort put into that. Was considered a win. So one of the weird things about all this development, like I say, is we want development in town, but we want it in a controlled fashion. So you have situations where I know iRobot left Burlington a few years or so ago.
They were down in the old industrial park.
Right. So I think they've gone off to Bedford, and so there was a sense where Woburn and Waltham and Lexington were actually pulling some of the corporate partners away from Burlington. So there's been effort to try and bring them all back. I know, we sell the Northwest Park concept, with the restaurants and the Wegmans and all of this as amenities to bring people in. So it's great when you bring in a Keurig. It's great when you bring in customers. But as you say, what do you do about the traffic?
Right.
I mean, when it comes to what I'd like to reassure people is that the planning board, town meeting, all the boards in town are presented with at least what the numbers look like when any of these big companies come in and want to construct something. With the huge build out at Northwest Park, again, we're looking at additional, 2.1 whatever million square feet. Well, it turns out that for every dollar of tax revenue we would see at full build out, we've gone to DPW, they've gone to DPW, they've gone to police, they've gone to fire, talked to the schools, they've looked at what sort of impact it would have on the infrastructure. It turns out that for every dollar we'd get back, it'll cost the town about 9 cents in services to maintain that. So,
right.
That again,
It's a
purely
91 cent
financially, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
But again,
then you get to the quality of life issue, and nobody's costing that out.
not because they wouldn't want to. It's, look, here's a question I've been asking at Ways and Means for all this time. So, and I'm not asking this just for Burlington. I wonder about America as a whole. I mean, we are predicated on, 2% growth, 2% inflation. That's what drives our economy.
Right.
What do you do when you have, sections of America, and I think it's a growing section of America, where you overbuild, where there is no land left to build, then there is no, you kind of, everything's full. And there are communities in the area who are looking at, Stoneham right now doesn't have buildable land left. And when they're trying to pay the bills for their town, a few years ago it's probably a scare tactic, but they were actually looking at dropping the sports program at their high school, saying they can't. Well, but there was significant money that they had to cut someplace,
Right.
So Burlington is not there yet, but we can't just say, hey, all development is done at this stage. We can't, we'd be shooting ourselves in the
Well, that's where
foot,
redevelopment comes in, and you start reviewing the building inventory and finding out which ones are in the sort of a process of possible redevelopment, and then they redevelop them.
Right. Which again, all these sites that you're showing here are all
Yeah,
redevelopment.
the last one was redevelopment. They bulldozed 3 buildings, I think, to make the site for whatever they're going to build there.
Yep.
How about, okay, so this is the Wegman site too from another angle.
Yep.
So they really are moving along there. I think,
It's scheduled to open about this time next year, I think.
yeah, 2014 is what they're saying on their sign. How about the next one, Joan? Okay, you hold this one for a while. So this is behind the movie theater, and this is the second building that they're building there. Okay. And it looks like they're just going to step right down the road. Is this going to be a complex of 4 or 5 buildings?
My understanding is there are 2 buildings. They were moving their headquarters here initially, and now they're bringing in they're actually bringing in their research and development team into Burlington as well.
Oh, this is Keurig? This is right behind the cinema.
Right behind the cinema?
Yeah.
So Keurig is down toward like Long Jewelers and all that down at.
Oh, it's down in the bottom?
That's Keurig down there. Right.
They're all finished.
So up at the top, I know there was approval for, I believe, 2 complexes, and again, as I was saying before, that they'd be zoned to allow for biotech research. So,
go back to the last one, Joan. One more. One more. The other way, Joan. It's okay. Right there. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Go back one. This is the wonders of community cable TV. So this one here is right behind the movie theater and the Italian Garden or whatever that restaurant.
Oh, right. Macaroni Grill. Yep.
Macaroni Grill. And Keurig is the one that's down on the...
Keurig is down at the very end of the road.
At the foot of the road.
Where Border
Men's
Cafe
Warehouse
and Men's Warehouse is.
Yeah.
Right. But so, like I say, so there are 2 buildings in that complex. Again, my understanding is there'd be 2 other buildings more toward the movie.
On the top. So then this is the first of those.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Now the next one, Joan. So these will all be pouring out onto Middlesex Turnpike. Every one of these buildings with all their population has to go out onto Middlesex Turnpike.
Now, I have learned that, well, guess I should remember from town meeting. I believe Keurig is putting in $3 million worth of improvements to these intersections down here. And,
yeah, because the one there, Chili's there, that needs some work.
Right. So I apologize. I'm not on the planning board, so I don't have quite all the details. But again, my understanding is they're going to be putting in perhaps additional left-hand turn lanes, and I did ask a member of the traffic committee, does this stuff really matter? I mean, going back to town meeting about a year or so ago, just on the other side of the highway, there was talk of putting in a Target in the canyon area there, and they were looking to put in around $6 million of traffic improvements on the Middlesex Turnpike south of the highway. And so that question was asked. Would that make a difference? Would the $6 million really, or is it all just cosmetic? That the understanding is that yes, indeed, that would mitigate traffic. But again, the question that we would have is kind of, lay people in town for how long?
Right. Well, the layperson in town makes that measure by how long are they sitting in their car waiting to get through the entrance or exit.
Right.
Okay. Because one of the perfect examples in town for me is the Market Basket right on the Burlington-Lexington line, and trying to get in there. If you could spend $6 million there, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah, I can remember going to the new Italian restaurant that was down there at lunch. It took me half an hour to make a right turn on the Middlesex Turnpike, and so that segment right there, I think, is the most broken part of Burlington right now. I, as a member of town meeting, I would be willing to, if $5 or $6 million would make a difference, then that's something we need to think about as a town. But again, we need to talk to, either bring in traffic engineers or find out if that would really make a difference.
We could just all go back to horse and buggy. You park your cars in outer satellite parking spaces, and we'll just use horse and buggies in town, and that way that.
I tell you what, I'll talk to the town administrator about that. And
okay. Well, I want to thank you very much, Brad. This has been a wonderful conversation. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the photos, and look forward to seeing you. Thank you. Bye.